Welcome back to Black Mantle Studios. My name's Bruce. If you're a DM and you're tired of your players always knowing who the good guys and the bad guys are from moment one, let me tell you a secret. It's actually really easy to fix. We've all been there, right? You set up this kingdom against the big scary monsters and your party doesn't even have to think. All they have to do is draw their swords and charge against the evil. It's simple, but at some point it gets a little boring. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the stories that really stick with your players, the ones they hopefully end up talking about for years. If you're ready to move beyond that predictable black and white morality and into the compelling shades of gray, then this guide is for you. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to build this web of complex factions where there are no right answers. A situation that forces your players to make difficult choices with real consequences. We're going to stop giving them a clear path and instead drop them in a political forest where every trail has its own dangers. Alright, before we get into the morally gray stuff, we've got to start with the basics. You can have these complex factions, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but let's start simple. A lot of GMs either make their factions too simple, just a bunch of quest givers, or they're a tangled mess from the start that nobody, not even the GM, can keep straight. The secret is to start with a clear, functional structure. First, what is a faction? It's not just a club, it's a group with a clear role in your world. Are they resource managers or spiritual guides or what? Tie this role directly to the main conflict of your campaign and suddenly they feel like a core part of your world. Now, to keep things from getting out of hand, especially at first, limit yourself to 5 major factions. Any more and you're just going to overwhelm your players. And I use the same format for this every time. Picture a pentagram, a 5-pointed star. Each point is a faction. This immediately gives you a star-shaped power web. Each faction has 2 allies, the ones next to it, and 2 enemies, the ones across from it. You've instantly created a dynamic, tense ecosystem of alliances and rivalries. Now, let's build the faction itself. You don't need a 10-page essay. Start with a simple template. First, name and role. We already talked about the role. Give them a name that tells you something. The Forgers Guild is way more evocative than the Greencloaks. Second, objectives and key figures. Give them 2 or 3 clear goals. What do they want right now? Perhaps secure the old quarry. Simple. Then create 2 NPCs, a leader who is the faction's spirit, and a primary contact for your players. Give them simple traits, an ideal, a bond, and a flaw, and they'll be instantly memorable. Third, assets and rewards. What can the faction actually do? What are their boons, like access to a library or a safe house? And what are their strike teams, the squads of guards or spies they use to get things done? These are your faction's levers of power. This is what they can offer your players or threaten them with. It makes the players actually care about who's in charge. Using this template, you can sketch out 5 interconnected factions that are ready to go, whether they're tiny city guilds or massive political powers. Dead easy. Okay, so we've built the foundation. Now, let's get on with it. This is how we turn a simple political map into a complex moral landscape. The key to moral grayness isn't making everyone a jerk. It's about making them understandable. It's building factions whose actions make perfect sense from their point of view, even if those actions are questionable. To do this, we stop thinking good versus evil. Instead, let's use the concept of the political compass tests you see online, but with different themes. So instead of good, think about where a faction falls on a horizontal spectrum like progress versus adaptation, and a vertical spectrum like equality versus merit. A faction isn't evil per se, it's just radically committed to progress, even if that means bulldozing tradition. Another faction isn't good, it's dedicated to equality, even if it crushes individual merit. You see? The conflict stops being about morality and starts being about a clash of valid, irreconcilable worldviews. Now, pick 6 core values for your world, like ambition, altruism, autonomy, faith, order, and survival. Those are just examples, but you can come up with your own. So for each faction, just rank those values from 1 to 6. 1 is their highest priority, and 6 is what they'll gladly sacrifice. For example, let's make one up. The Vanguard of Progress. They rank ambition number 1, Reason number 2, and altruism is weighed down at number 6. They want to build a better future with tech and discovery, and they think that ambition is the engine for that, but they see altruism as a weakness holding society back. They might destroy an ancient sacred forest to build an aqueduct. To them, that's not evil, it's a necessary sacrifice for a greater good, see? This is how you get amazing flaws. Every strength taken to an extreme is a weakness. A faction built on ambition will be ruthless. One built on altruism might demand insane sacrifices. A faction for autonomy might shatter when it needs to unite against a common enemy. Let's take a look at another one, the Aethernati, a faction that values order above everything. Their goal is to maintain peace and prevent the chaos that tore the kingdom apart ages ago. So they use a huge network of spies. They argue that total surveillance is a small price for peace. But that could lead to blackmail and disappearances. Their enemy, the Knights of the Anti-Aether, might be zealots who believe freedom is paramount even if it means instability. Now your players aren't choosing between good and evil, they're choosing between safety and freedom, and that is a genuinely difficult choice. Hey, real quick, if you're finding these concepts helpful for your world building and you want to put them into practice right away, I've created a free PDF faction worksheet that you can grab over on my Gumroad. And if you want to go even deeper, there's an expanded version of that worksheet available for just $5. I've also got an expanded dungeon stocking PDF worksheet for the same price. Every sale directly helps to keep the channel going and allows me to improve the production quality for future videos, so your support is appreciated. And of course, if you're getting value from this guide, consider hitting that subscribe button and let me know in the comments below about the faction intrigue you've used in a game. So how does this actually look at the table? It's one thing to design all this, it's another thing to actually run it. The key is to present your players with choices where they have to weigh the pros and cons. Let's go back to our star-shaped web. Your players need to cross a heavily guarded border. They could go to the Legionnaires, a faction that values progress and order. The Legionnaires can get them official papers, a military escort, easy, but the price? The players have to help enforce a new super restrictive law in a nearby town. A law that hurts innocent people, but the Legionnaires argue it's necessary for security. Or they could turn to the Shadow Syndicate, a faction that values autonomy and reason. The Syndicate can smuggle them across in secret tunnels, no questions asked. But what's their price? Steal some research from a Legionnaire workshop. Research that could save lives, but in the Syndicate's hands could also become a weapon. I hope it seems like there's no right answer. Both options have huge benefits and moral trade-offs. This is the heart of a morally gray campaign, and the player's choices should have a visual impact. If they help the Legionnaires, the town gets more orderly, but its people are miserable. If they help the Syndicate, they get a powerful new ally, but they might have just unleashed a new terror in the world. And official settings do this all the time. Once you know this structure, I bet you're going to start seeing it everywhere. Look at a setting like Drakenheim. Factions are defined by their clear goals and what they can offer. The core principle is the same. Factions are tools, and the players have to decide which tools they're willing to use. Just a couple of final tips. First, don't keep your factions as a single block forever. Let them splinter. If the players undermine a moderate leader, maybe an extremist takes over. This makes the world feel alive. That said, when you first introduce a faction, present a clear morality so you don't confuse your players. Let that complexity that we talked about emerge slowly over time from their actions. Second, keep it manageable. Stick to that 5-faction limit. Trust me, it's the perfect number to create a sandbox that feels alive, with problems and opportunities the players can jump into without drowning you in notes. So let's recap. We started by building a solid foundation with a dead easy template. A faction's role, its goals, its leaders, and its assets. Then, we layered on the moral complexity. We moved beyond good and evil with opposing forces like progress versus tradition. We gave each faction a rank list of values to give them a clear logic for everything they do. And we saw how every faction's greatest strength can become its greatest flaw. When you build your world this way, you create space for real role-playing. You guide your players to stop asking, what's the good thing to do, and start asking, what do we value most? Is it security or freedom? The community or the individual? The future or the past? There are no right answers here, only choices, and choices with consequences are what makes unforgettable stories. Thank you for watching. Now go out there and build a world full of beautifully complicated, morally gray factions. Challenge your players. Make them think. and watch your game turn into something really special. If this guide helped you, please like the video and subscribe for more content on world building and running better games. What are some moral dilemmas you're excited to use in your campaign? Let me know in the comments below.